Hi everyone, it's Tess from teachwithtess.com. Today we've got the second instalment of the conversation that I had with Justin and Maggie all about Chinese culture. Today in particular we're talking about parents. They share their knowledge and experience about Chinese parents and the type of things that they look for in their children's tutors, their expectations, and it really was a super interesting chat. I learned an awful lot from it, and I really hope that you will too. Don't forget, of course, if you want to subscribe, it helps my channel grow. I love that. Thank you. And like the video if you find it useful. Please don't forget to put your suggestions in the comments box below. I try to make videos as much as possible that help you, so I need to know what you need. Lastly, of course, my channel is all about Wales English, teaching ESL online and working from home. So if you are starting your ESL journey, then this is the right place for you. Anyway, without further ado, let's go. It would be really useful to know how they are different potentially to Western parents or Western culture.
Well, I work currently not working because but I'm only working the university, but I work in the gifted program. And there's a very key difference between American parents and Chinese parents. American parents, if they start to get a bunch of papers home that have a 100% on it, our American parents are like, they're not being challenged. Give them more, right? This is not difficult enough, right? Make it difficult, make it difficult. American parents want to see mistakes. Yeah. They want to see that they're being challenged, that they're being stretched, right? Chinese parents, the other way. Why did they get one wrong? Why did they get two wrong? Right?
Yeah.
And as an Americans, we're like, it's only one wrong. It's only two wrong. They did great. They did wonderful. No. The bar is different, right? That bar is
a B grade
really
is often considered a failure.
Mastery, right? Total mastery. That is really, really important. So when I'm teaching in China, I don't give an assessment until I know that they have it. When I teach in America, we give daily assessments so that the parents can see they've improved, right?
Yeah.
So there's this daily showing parents, look, this is where they were and this is where they are now. We skip the this is where they were with my Chinese parents. And we just get to this is where we are now. And we just skip the process, right? Because they want to see the mastery. Are you teaching them? They don't want to see the mistakes.
Yeah. So what do parents look for in teachers? You know, this is something that when we're doing our profile, etc., you know, you have teachers saying, oh, what should I upload? What are parents looking for in teachers? Whether they're, you know, let's talk about online, let's talk about Wales in particular, or any online company. What do parents look for?
Well, I think that's a really interesting thought. And as far as the age level, there is different expectations from a teacher from at different age levels. One of the interesting things about one of my favorite teaching styles is Montessori. And there are actually Montessori schools in China, but they only go through first grade.
Yeah.
Because past that first grade, they're expecting output. And so in the beginning, kind of having this fun, interactive, you know, seeing that their kids are enjoying themselves, that's really fun and important. That's what they want from us. Then there gets to a point where they want to see output with it, where no matter how fun you are, that's not enough. What they need to see is heavy improvement. Are they scoring well at school on their tests in English? Because that's now your gauge, right? Yeah. And a lot of the teachers like, you know, why are they switching now, you know? And what may have happened is they didn't score well at school on their English exam. And really that's in their mind, that's on you. And even though you think we have such a great relationship, you know, we love each other, right?
So just to be really, really clear about this. So when they're sort of ESC to what sort of ages, what grades are you talking about where it's fine to be good fun and it's all not, I'm going blah, 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 what the words I'm trying to think of. You said earlier that it's
where fun is most important.
Where fun is most important. Thank you, Maggie.
I think using will terms is probably through GKB.
Okay, so ESC, GKB.
And then once they get into 1A,
yeah,
it becomes a combo, right? They want to see that the teacher is fun, is interactive. That's when extension activities become a little more important. Those teachers want to see, those parents want to see extension activities, you know, and then once they're in 2A and 2B, they're wanting some serious outputs.
Yeah, critical thinking.
Yeah, they want to see how are they performing on their exams in school in English. Really, and those are things that us as Wales teachers will never see, right? And
one other thing to Maggie's earlier point about the expectations of the parents is that a B grade is considered a failure.
Yeah.
Most of the time. If you don't get an A, you failed. Doesn't matter if it was a B++ or whatever. That's, you know, American parents would be like, all right, hey, that's not bad. You know, let's see if we can get that A next time.
Yeah.
I have unfortunately, boy, let's just say that when I was over there, oh, bless you.
Please edit that out.
Oh, hey, I've been doing that constantly for the past 2 days. Just this morning started to feel better. Anyway, though, I heard of, let's just say, harsh punishments coming from students where I would, when I was over there, they would come and go, oh, teacher, I can't have this grade. My father will, anyway, it just, so I would oftentimes, just to help them out, I would say, well, I can't just change it, but if you do this project, you do this extra work, then we can look at maybe changing your grade and stuff. So yeah, the expectations are huge. In fact, if you get 2 kids become really good friends at school, I saw this happen all the time, and then maybe 3 kids become really good friends, and then the parents want to invite the families over for dinner and say, hey, invite your foreign teacher too. And the first thing they do when everybody gets there, if the kid has awards, they will take you to the shrine that is on the wall with all the awards, and won this one for that, and won this one for that, and
okay,
this one
that's
for that.
my house as well, just so you know.
Okay, but
I'm so
I think
proud.
yeah, no, but see, I think what I'm saying here though is that there's a difference between being proud of your children and achieving vicarious personal goals through your children, which is what this really was. Anyway, and I'm not saying it's not like a bad quality or whatever, but the competitiveness is huge over there. And that's why, again, the perfect score is like, why did they get 1 wrong? Why did they get 2 wrong? It's because they're so competitive. Because getting into the school system, especially if, international kids are going to go to school here or England or something like that, but the domestic ones are going to go to school in China, and they only have so many places for them. So the competitive aspects of it is huge. And that's where I think most of the pressure comes from.
And just going back, because this is fascinating, all of this, I'm just looking at the time for you, Maggie, and you're talking about critical thinking skills and output, this sort of thing, and it's something that, as Wales teachers, we're told a lot that we should be, for the higher levels, really, really developing critical thinking skills, because from what I've understood and what I've read, they don't necessarily have access to that if they're in classes of however many they are in at school. Do they have the opportunity to develop critical thinking skills in their classes in school in China?
Well,
or maybe this is me misunderstanding, but
I think that this is a huge misunderstanding, and why in which we need to have more American teachers and English teachers, British teachers going to China to see. Those teachers are amazing. I mean, truly, I am floored by going into a 3rd grade classroom and seeing the amount of structure and what they are getting these children to do. They have my deepest, deepest praise on the amount of work that they put outside of the classroom to make sure that their third grade classroom runs on schedule, that these children know where to go. And I learned so much while I was there. But remember, it's difficult when you have 50 students in a classroom, but also here, you know, our teaching here is about stations and hands-on and manipulatives. They just don't have access to the materials in order to have a station, right? We would stick kids, we would have 7 or 8 stations around the room with sand or, you know, some sort of manipulatives. That there just isn't the resources and able to do that there. So they do an amazing job. I think they've perfected this, you know, what they can. I mean, you see that in our students, how well they speak.
Oh, it's extraordinary. Yeah.
I mean, they just absolutely blow me away. But there is not time to do what we do in Wales English.
Yeah.
There's
so
not
it's really
time in a classroom.
Additional resource for parents. That's why it's popular, doing this sort of.
We are supplements, right?
Yeah.
We do what their teachers can't do. It's not that they don't want to. And I've had these wonderful, amazing Chinese teachers watch me and my classroom, and they say, I wish we could do that, but they can't. It's not that they don't want to. It's not that they're controlled and somebody's telling them what to do. It's just with that many students, they can't.
You know what? I don't know. We've got another 5 minutes here. I want to ask you a question that came to me while we were talking about all of this, that I know I've seen posts on. What do they do? I don't know if 5 minutes is enough. So feel free, Maggie, if you need to shoot off. But how do children with special needs get picked up, or do they? Because I mean, these huge classes, is there any space in the Chinese education system to help those maybe who are dyslexic?
No. And that's the difference in parenting, right? You know, for us as American parents or as Western parents, like, we are these advocates to get our kids, you know, what they need. We're watching for it. We're looking for it. And there's not a stigma around it. You know, there's a stigma still around this, right? So this is one of the things I teach in my college classroom to teachers. I teach future ESL teachers that American parents are like, would jump up and down if a teacher said, please come in and get extra help. I want to work with you, get you up to speed. American parents are like, yes, what a great teacher. That's a fear for Chinese students and Chinese parents, that they're going to say, you need to come in and get some extra help. No. They don't want that. Their child is being singled out for not being good enough.
Difficult.
It's not great. There's definitely a stigma around that extra help.
And what do you think?
The parents.
Sorry, Justin.
Well, just real quick, 2 things on that, because I know Maggie has to go. The parents either want to make that call themselves, or in some cases where there is an actual special needs kid, they're not going to be in that public school system. They do have schools for the blind. And they do have schools for the deaf, but and I don't know much about them. There was one up the street from where I worked in Shanghai, and so there was school for the deaf, and those kids would get a big kick out of trying to talk to me when I would walk by. But
there's no ADHD diagnosis.
I
see that a lot.
That's what
on
I was
the
trying
Facebook.
to get at.
On the Facebook, they were asking about that. No, there's no ADHD diagnosis. There's going to be no Asperger diagnosis.
Autism?
No.
Nothing like that.
Only if it is at a debilitating level, not if you are high functioning, like an Asperger level. No, there's not going to be any of that.
And so last question on this, how can we or do we have a place as tutors more than class teachers in schools? Can we, through RTCs or say anything to parents about, no, it's an absolute taboo, you don't go there,
and I think it needs to be clear, that's not our job. In an American classroom, and I think that's real, or in a Western classroom in Europe, especially us teachers that have taught in brick and mortar schools, we feel like it's our job. We need to switch the gear from being a teacher to a tutor. It is not the tutor's job and it's really interfering in a family's private affairs.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope.
Now it's super, super interesting to know about. Is there anything else, Maggie? You're going to have to run, aren't you, before we start another conversation? Because this is fascinating. This is gold dust because we don't have, even if you're sort of looking online, it's quite hard to pick up information like this, actually. So that is so useful to know. So it's a big no-no. But you're right. I'm bricks and mortar. I was a bricks and mortar teacher, and it's like I need.
Right. And as brick and mortar teachers, we feel like it's our responsibility to be the children's advocate, right?
Yeah.
When you're working online to China, you are a tutor. You are not their teacher, and it is not your job.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Maggie.
All right. Well, I need to go teach
I know you do.
my college students. Cheers to you.
Nice to meet you, Maggie.
Thanks so much. I'll be in contact with you afterwards. Okay. Thanks so much.